Kevin Love was asked the other night just about for Darius, starting off that last game, and I think he started off 1 for 11. He had so much defensive attention on him. Like, what can you do to encourage him? And he kind of laughs. Says, well, welcome to stardom. What he was most proud of was that he just kept fighting through, even though he was 1 for 11. Is that kind of like the sign that you look for in an elite player? Is that what you have to do, just fight through?
Yeah, I mean, you have to have confidence. None of the great players in this league lack confidence because you're going to see so much, and especially as you're young and you're figuring it out. Like once you establish yourself, it's different. But if you don't believe in yourself, there's no way you can have success in this league. And, obviously Darius's teammates believe in him and they support him. We believe in him as a staff and support him. But you got to have that self-confidence in order to make it through tough times. And it's not one of those things where, it can last 4 or 5 games. You have to figure it out minute by minute and quarter by quarter because, your team's going to need you. And we definitely need Darius.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. Hey, JP.
What's up, Chris?
Given the way that you guys have started March and what's in front of you, what is the level of importance when it comes to this homestand?
I mean, it's it for what we're trying to accomplish. I think we've done a really good job of playing at home, playing in front of our fans, and our crowd has been, phenomenal. And we have to take advantage of it. You look at some of the other teams and the amount of road games that they're going to play that are in front of them. So we have to do the job and take care of home court.
Thank you.
Counselors of the Athletic, Jamie, Lowry, Dean, and they all have
Karis.
Yes, Karis, go through the game before.
Karis will play, Lowry will play, Dean Wade will be out.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
and then I guess in terms with Isaac, how have you seen him through this stretch, especially make an offensive effort, more cutting or anything with guys shifting down through the bigs, but is there anything he has to do differently in this stretch?
I mean, he's got to continue to do what he does where his strengths lie. He is really good in the open court, so we got to do a better job of getting him the ball in the open court. He does move well without the basketball. He does attack closeouts well. So we have to help him and put him in those positions to do more. But again, we don't want him to try to be somebody that he's not. All we want is our guys to play to their strengths.
Yep.
You were saying the other night in Miami about how coaching is difficult. And, if you think about what you've done way above any expectation from a team perspective, same thing in Minnesota. I think, they have the same turnaround you guys have. And there's a guy like Ty who were coached all year without his 2 best players and they're playing that kind of thing. I guess my question is there something about the moment or the times that sort of either makes this job harder or demands that coaches be at an elite level?
Well, I think the most difficult and most important position that we have and responsibility is the relationships that we have with our guys. When you're dealing with the elite of the elite, guys who've seen it, guys who've done it, guys who have an immense level of talent, trying to figure out how to get all those guys to buy into one thing, that's the most difficult part of our job, is trying to figure out how people from different backgrounds, different motivations, all can find something and coexist for the greater good. And then you have to have the relationship with those guys to be able to tell them the truth. And that's not always easy. You have to find a way to earn their trust and earn their respect in order to get to that point. And these guys, right, as they've come up, the one thing that they do is they smell bullshit faster than anybody else. So if it's not genuine, if it's not real, you'll never have that relationship. You'll never earn that trust. You'll never get, 15, 17, however many guys you want to believe and buy into something greater than themselves.
I know there's only 30, it's a tight, small fraternity. And so you stick together, right? I understand all that. But is there anybody who sticks out in your mind as just being exemplary this year from a head coaching perspective?
I mean, it's tough. There's, because each guy's circumstances are different, right? You can't say that Monty's not doing a hell of a job out in Phoenix. You can't say T. Lou's not doing a heck of a job, with the Clippers. Everybody's situations are different, and how you manage those situations, that's the job that's in front of you. So it's, from a coaching perspective, you appreciate and respect what all those guys are doing because of, the behind the scenes, almost behind the curtains understanding of the job that is that they have to do.
Back to that.
Andrew Grett from the LA Times. If you were trying to explain to someone what's allowed Evan to be so successful this year, if you could have to distill it down to like a moment or a memory, is there anything that kind of pops in mind for you?
I mean, it's tough to put it in a moment because like you have to know Evan. And once you kind of understand what makes him tick, you understand why he can be so impactful so quickly. And it's one of those things with him where it just shows over time because it's different every night depending on the situation. It's, at home versus Chicago where he gets a chase down block to help us ignite a run. It's at New York where we need to score and he goes off, I believe it was his career high at the time because we need points. I think it's so many different ways that he impacts winning that it continues to grow on you every night because you see something different and his mentality never changes. Like the only thing that he does, and I've said this before, is he just tries to figure out how to help this team win. And it's never one time been about him. It's never been, I need more touches. I need more plays called for me. I need, this certain matchup. I need to do this. Like whatever's in front of him, he just goes and tries to figure out a way to help us win.
You find out what makes it tick. That's when it starts to really build. When you feel like you guys together got to know each other and felt like you start your foundation and start to build from there.
I mean, I think it was pretty early on, and like you see his demeanor, and as a coach, he quickly earns your trust. Most 19, 20-year-olds when they come in the league, it takes them a little bit of time before you can be like, what, we can count on this guy. And Evan, almost immediately when you watched him play pickup early in September, when you watched him go through preseason, there was a stability there that you don't typically see in rookies. And I began to trust him almost immediately.
Hi, Coach Judy Maggio, Valley Sports West. What have you seen from Avisa Zubac in terms of his development and also his impact on the defensive end?
I mean, he's definitely improved. I think his understanding of how to play without needing to dominate the basketball, but still be extremely effective on the offensive end of the floor. How he punishes people on the interior. His ability to finish around the rim without just dunks and get to his hooks and those things. But watching him now, expanding himself defensively, watching him trap more pick and rolls, being more comfortable switching away from the basket, especially fitting with the group that they have of so many switchable guys. I think he's taken big steps and been able to do that from that position. And whenever you have a guy of that size who can guard multiple positions, who can get out on the perimeter and try to help take away opponents' best players and pick and roll, it's an advantage.
Ashley Bassback, Cleveland.com. Hey, JB.
What's up?
I know you guys have some obviously strong vet leadership on this team, especially Kevin, who's been down these long playoff runs before. But thinking about Darius's role on this team and navigating this rough stretch where you guys had so many injuries, he's navigating an injury of his own and staying healthy. Just how have you seen him have to grow up as a leader, basically mentally and things like that these last few months?
I mean, he's had no choice. He's almost, baptism by fire. But you watch his play and he's got a maturity to his game and he's taken a big step from last year to this point now. A lot of these guys grow up and they're better than whoever's in front of them. Darius has been really good for a really long time. He's been able to translate that pretty quickly to this level. So he's got a confidence in himself that, he knows that he can go out and impact winning. And a lot of his leadership style is lead by example. He shows no fear. He backs down from nobody. There's not a challenge that's been put in front of him, that he's shied away from or quit from. And I think that's his leadership style. And that's why, his teammates see him and that's why his teammates follow him.
And
Law Murray at The Athletic. Looking at your team defense and the Clippers defend, two of the best teams in the league, keeping teams off the free line, I think the two best. And I was wanted to know from you, is that something that you prioritize or if that's just a byproduct of how you wanted to defend this season in general?
Yeah, it is, a priority for us. You think about the 3 levels and the job that we try to do, and not always successfully, but, you want to try to protect your rim first. You want to keep teams off the free throw line, and then you want to control the 3-point line as well. So, as you put your defense in, systematically, you try to figure out, how do you do all those things? The elite guys in this league, they get 8 to 10 free throws a night, and it makes it that much more difficult to guard because now you can't touch them. You can't be physical with them, all those things. So we try to make sure, and again, we've done a pretty good job of it, trying to keep teams out of the bonus so that we can defend with the physical nature that we want to defend with and, make people have to earn it by taking shots and keep them off the strike.
Last one down front, Chris.
JB, I'm not calling you old, but you have a lot of young guys on your team and you're older.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to connecting with them, is there something specific that you have seen to bridge the age gap that is there?
It's I'm going to say something to you, but we'll wait till later. No, honestly, it's one of those things where, we kind of laugh and joke about it, but like my dad is the same way, right? Like he's been doing this for what seems like 100 years, but he's continued to be around the game and continued to be around the people. And so you just watch the trends and how things evolve, right? Like there hasn't been a moment where I've been separated from, this age group of people. So, you understand, this age group of people and the differences that were there. I think my first job, I was 24, I think I was, in coaching. And, I was roommates with some of the guys at ABCD camp that I had to coach now, right? So you continue those relationships and then those relationships never change, but then you just adjust and realize the people that you're working with because you spend the time with them and you get to know them. And, I've got TikTok, so.
That's how you end it.
Right.